Public comment?
Morning, Brandon.
Hey, Brad.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be brief. I just want to thank everyone who helped for Memorial Day with flags. The commissioners, all the row officers, all my organizations. I have Alan Polubinski. He's from Schuylkill. He did every cemetery up in Schuylkill. And last but least, I have juvenile probation. I don't know what I'd do without them. Any of the graves that were not done, they did for me. The Boy Scouts, they were great, and the fire companies were great. So I want to thank all of you for all that you've done for us. And next year I may put out a notice because I'm getting fewer and fewer of the organizations are getting older to get more volunteers. Thank you.
We appreciate what you do, and it's very important to remember our fallen heroes.
Yes,
defending
very
our country.
important. Thank you.
Good work, Brandon. Good work.
Thank you.
Billy, any other public comment?
Morning, Jeff.
Morning.
Good morning.
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. No update on Lisa Stevens. Miss Gaffney, I almost had a heart attack coming in today. Somebody said they were here for a tour and Teresa's giving it. Marks 2 times in 1 month. According to records, that's the first time that's been done since the month she was sworn in. So she's only here again to give a tour. And from what I gather, the Tamaqua kids that she took on a tour last time had to point out to her where her office was, because she's never here. See some of the same row office people still aren't here today when the meeting starts. It's a shame. However, some people did show up. Just a reminder with government pages, I got reports of this and pictures sent to me. Maybe Shelby can look into this or the other solicitors. If you run a government page through the courthouse, you cannot suppress free speech or criticism. You cannot selectively remove comments unless there's likes of threats or harassment. There are case laws out there. So some of those things are being done and being removed just because it's criticism.
On where, Jeff? Like
On
what page?
Mainly the treasurer's page is what was just sent to me, so
Okay.
I can forward that to you.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
that'd
does
be
she have her own Facebook page?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. So that was sent to me last
okay.
night.
Yeah, it's not one of the county pages though, we don't have it.
Right. It's a
Yeah,
government
it's not-
page, but
Yeah,
it's run by the.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, she can address it. She's here. She can
Okay.
address it if she wants. Also, I guess the cat's out of the bag now. I guess we all know why you guys allowed Moylan to force your hands at jacking the rent up with the proposed sale going through. I knew there had to be more to it than allowing somebody to jack the rent 10 times. So he was preparing for the sale to get everything ready. And that's why, because I actually had to do that with one of my properties in order to get the sale price to meet the appraisal to help with the funding for this proposed haunted house in New Philadelphia. So anybody that's watching or listening that lives in the New Philadelphia area, I highly encourage you to attend the zoning hearing meeting, which I believe is June 2nd at 6 p.m. Maybe you guys have any information on that, I don't know. But they're proposing a haunted house at the Simon Kramer Institute. I just can't imagine. I mean, just imagine being in New Philly, sipping on a bush light. Now there's going to be a tap room in there. There's going to be a haunted house. There's going to be an arcade. Then there's the morgue, and then there's the coroner's office. So you're sipping a bush light, okay? You're watching bodies go by at 10 o'clock at night into a morgue while playing Mortal Kombat, and it says finish him. And then you're just like, everybody's there, and they're doing ghost tours and everything till 3 in the morning. I mean, this is wild times in the Skook, I'm telling you.
Well, like I said, encourage people to come to the zoning hearing board.
Right, and I
The
hope
county has a 60-day out in our contract.
I hope the commissioners stand behind the people in New Philly because they're saying there's not going to be an increase of traffic, but they're comparing it to the likes of Pennhurst and Eastern State Penitentiary, plus all this tap room and arcade and concert venues, and they're going to bus people in. And the variance request is just mind-blowing. So I think that's the reason why there was such a drastic unannounced rate increase. And he pretty much dictated to you guys, hey, this is what it's gonna be, and you guys just move forward with it. Okay, thank you. So, thanks.
Any other public comment?
Morning,
Good morning.
Sue Reed from Pottsville. First question I'd like to ask is, who is the house administrator and why is he given a public handicap spot to park? Why wasn't it used? Why didn't one of the cops?
Wait, hold up. Who?
Who is the house administrator?
I think she's saying probably Pottsville Housing Authority, is that what you're?
No, it's right out front here as you come in the doors. Maybe it is court administrator, maybe I got it wrong.
I don't understand what you mean. The handicap parking spaces are for anybody that's handicapped, and the
Yeah,
administrator has their own
Yeah,
parking
they start, I
space
believe, right after.
right after the handicap. They do their
no,
own.
you go outside and you look, and on that first parking spot outside that door, it's a reserved spot for somebody
Okay,
in
I'll-
this courthouse.
I'll take a look at it, but the handicap parking space is for,
That is correct, Commissioner. People were parking there, so we put the court administrator, it is a handicap spot. We
Yes,
have it on there so people realize it. We just put handicap people or anybody who's parking. But it's for somebody in the courts system that has a problem getting in, it's for them. It's a handicap, not for the court administrator. That is not correct.
it's for somebody,
It's still-
so if it was,
it's still a handicap parking spot.
if it was empty, I could pull into that.
No, it's for court administration's handicap person that's up there.
They have a handicap person that works in the court.
We do have other handicap spots
They
out
have
there.
a handicap placard.
Okay, so why didn't you give one of the cop spaces up? We have a lot of handicapped people around here. I being one of them.
Okay,
I am currently parked in the blue lines.
okay. You're parked in a handicap spot.
Well, no, it's not actually a handicap spot. It's all the blue lines.
Okay, I don't know, I'll have to,
I'm not sure if those spots would qualify along there. The slope may be too high.
It's the side of the breaker box or whatever
I
it is.
understand, yeah.
okay.
Ian Lipton's on his way with your ticket.
Yeah, you better watch
I better not get a ticket.
Listen, I got a ticket in the wrong parking lot.
I mean, you know, what? My question is, okay, if the guy needed a handicap spot, why didn't you take one of those cop spots instead of a public handicap? And if you're patrolling the parking lot, you could get somebody who isn't handicapped parking in there. You could give him a ticket.
Well, Ian could, we could. We don't have the authority to give a ticket.
Excuse me?
We have a,
We would call the city of Pottsville.
The
If
city
somebody
of-
would park illegally, we could call the city of Pottsville, they would issue a ticket. We haven't come across that.
And what kind of a wage does this person receive?
for who, for what, which person? That person in the handicap parking spot?
Yeah, for the court administrator.
It's not the court administrator.
That's not appropriate,
It's not a,
it's an ADA accommodation, ma'am. and-
yeah, we have to make accommodations for an ADA, a handicapped person that works here. We're making accommodations for that person so they can do their job and come in, so you're,
Okay, I understand that, but why
Ma'am, your
Why-
time is up.
already?
you can finish your
3:30,
thought.
yeah.
I just don't it's like any place else. You go to any place that works, and if somebody has a disability, they make accommodation for that person that's working there for a parking space, so they can do their job. This is the same thing? So
I understand, but why did you take a public parking spot? Why didn't you take
technically, they're not public parking spots, they're,
public handicap parking spot?
well,
A worker can park.
so the worker can park close to the door and get into the building.
So why
Without
do
having to go up steps, without having to go through the ramped entrance.
I understand all about
Okay.
handicap,
Okay.
but why didn't you take the first cop spot then?
Honestly, I don't know, that's the way it's been forever, so I don't,
No, it hasn't been that way forever,
well, did it just
because
change
I
the
used
last
to park in that first spot.
week? Well, they made an accommodation for this person that's handicapped. If you want, I don't know, we'll take it away from them, and, you know,
No, I'm not-
I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm not saying about taking it
It's a
away.
to me, I think I'm sorry, we're making an accommodation for somebody that's handicapped that works in the courthouse.
Correct.
That's what any business would do, that's what anywhere you go is supposed to do, so, that's it. If you have something else to say, just move on quickly, because your time's up, and I just don't know what you want me to say about this.
Well, I just wanna let you know also
Okay,
that I still did not receive my assessment paperwork. I was supposed to go out in the second batch. It got pulled, but the ID 10T
Chrissy, did she get
people,
her- Did you put it and give it to her?
When I talked to you the other day, and I checked, yours was going out in that next batch, and I said to you, watch her the next couple of days. What day was that, Thursday?
yep,
Okay, so, I mean.
I got your email.
That's all I know, is it was, Charlie had messaged me and said it was going out in that batch, so if they mailed them on, they just mailed them on Thursday or Friday. I don't know what the batch was, Charlie
We'll
said on
double check again
Thursday it
after
was
the
gonna be
thing.
going out.
Okay,
I'll address it when I come.
okay.
I mean, I would like to say other things,
Okay.
but, okay, when was 911 installed?
Okay,
Because 911 and the post office,
okay, I don't understand the line of questions with 911. So, we gotta move on with our meeting, if you wanna stay, I'll talk to you after the meeting and address some of your concerns that I can, but 911's been here for, I don't know,
I don't know off the top of my head.
19.
Been there a long time.
early 90s.
okay, and when 911 was installed, the 911 and the post office had to get together to make sure that they had the right addresses for everybody. So my question is why didn't Vision ask the post office or the 911 center for the correct addresses of personnel, of persons' homes?
Tim will address it when he stands up, and because he gives his update, so we'll address that, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment before Tim goes? Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Tim Barr, Vision Government Solutions. I'll work backwards so I don't lose track. First of all, the Vision collected data on the physical description of what's at every property. We visited every property. Whatever the address was on file where tax bills go, that's what we used for the mailing addresses. We don't do any research on that. That's something that if someone has an incomplete or a bad mailing address, they want to have their address changed, they contact the assessment office and fill out the appropriate form or whatever their procedures are to adjust addresses. So Vision, it's not part of our contract to research whether people's mailing addresses are right. The presumption is they go to wherever the bill goes. There were exempt properties in the county that never got a mailing before. And together, assessment and my staff filled in some of those. There's still a handful that, it just says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, what are you gonna do? Where do you send that? As to the mailings, there were a grand total, not different dates, but there were a grand total of 7 different mailings. The first one's a long time ago. I believe yours was in one that went out about a week ago. It takes 5 days, business days, for the post office typically to run through the full cycle of delivering them here. That's because they're mailed from a mail center in Wisconsin. And that's where they're coming from, so it takes a few days for them to get here. The last batch, which were what we call revised notices, things where we discovered something during the informal that wasn't, we discovered something during the period of informal reviews that was not initiated by a property owner. And so we sent out revised notices on some properties so that they could potentially do an informal review if they weren't planning to do one. And the last batch of those were mailed yesterday. So there's no more mailings. The bulk of the commercial ones went out a little over a week ago, so people should have been receiving those Saturday or Tuesday, of course, with Monday being a holiday. One of the most important things that I want to get across is the deadline to call and schedule an informal review is this coming Friday. The phone center shuts down at 4:30 p.m. Friday the 30th. So if you want to call and schedule a residential informal review, I should clarify, this is for the residentials, the ones that have been mailed for a long time. Residential informal reviews, the call center stops scheduling those after Friday. We're going to leave the website open over the weekend that people can self-schedule residentials until 9 o'clock Sunday. And then we have to prepare the docket for the next morning, for Monday morning. So we will have some residential informals next week, but we have to cut the scheduling off at the end of the month for residentials. Now, because the commercials went out a little later than everything else, we're extending the deadline for commercial calls, and you have to call to get a commercial appointment. You can't book them online, because we want to ask you how many properties you have and make sure we allow enough time. You can call, you'll be able to call again on the following Monday. You can call all this week for commercials. The deadline for that is Monday, June 9th. So at 4:30 on Monday, June 9th, will be the last chance to call and schedule a commercial informal review. The commercial mailers went out with both the same thing that all the property owners, residential owners got. Tax impact is on there. It also has extra pages. We call it a commercial questionnaire. If someone wants to come for an informal review or do it over the phone, they can fill that out in advance and have it ready to talk about. And if they don't know what any of that means, they can just ask questions and we'll do it interactively. But we merged our commercial questionnaires with our informal reviews so we could do a more personal one-on-one kind of a walkthrough with people on the commercial questionnaire. So the commercial's actually got 4 pages, 2 sheets, double duplex, 4 pages for the commercials. Overall, the informal reviews have gone very well. Honestly, we've had fewer than we expected. We were ramped up for anticipating far more than we've had. Now, I don't know if that's because people are going to just jump and go straight to a formal appeal. I will tell you, all evidence points to the fact that the tax impact, which the commissioners agreed to allow us to do, telling people what their taxes are has had a huge positive effect. Because I know 2 other counties in the state, one of which Vision is also doing, where the commissioners didn't want to do a tax impact, and therefore they're overloaded. They're exceeding what they planned and getting lots more informal reviews. So just letting people know that when the values go up about 5 times, the millages go down about 5 times, that fact, evidenced in real numbers on their notice, has been, I think, a tremendous boon to why we've not seen more. I'm expecting a lot of calls this week. Please schedule if you want to review the data on the property. Another topic on informal reviews, and we've had a couple of, not a huge number, but this question's been coming up that I want to address it. Mass appraisal of real estate is different than construction or even fee appraisal or what realtors do. We have our own set of codes and descriptions of how we collected the data. And we're required by the Pennsylvania Constitution and assessment law to be uniform in how we do that. So I'll give you an example. I had a conversation with a nice couple the other day who happened to have a bi-level. They wanted to know why their house was listed as having unfinished lower level, ULL on the website, when their neighbor had basement listed on their sketch. The neighbor's house was a rancher. Ranch houses get basements. Bi-levels get unfinished lower level. That's our rules. We don't change it. We don't make it basement just because they ask us to. And once I explain to them that that's all bi-levels get studied by their own group, and that's how we've coded them. So that's one example of an issue where, with further explanation, which we generally can't get into all that in an informal, but I'm sharing it here because we've had a couple of scenarios where people have questioned how the data is listed. It's all on the website. You can go to the county website or mine and look at the property data, but you cannot challenge how we listed the data. If you go to a formal appeal, you're gonna review the data with the board, and some people can do that, and you're gonna present your opinion of value and evidence to support that, but you cannot appeal pieces. You cannot say, I want you to data collect this property differently than we did. That's not a subject for appeal. And within the informal review, if my staff says, no, this is our standard, this is what we do, they will have my support because I don't want to treat people differently. I need to treat the properties the same. So that's been a recent thing that's still percolating out there a little bit, and we'll address that. Of course, on or before July 1st, the official values will be mailed by the county. They will also include a tax impact. I can just tell everybody, they will include a composite tax impact, which means the tax impact will be a single old number and a single new number blended for county, municipal, and school taxes together. It'll probably be the 2024 school millages because we won't have all the new millages in time, but it'll give people an idea of their total burden currently and their future estimated burden. Still an estimate, it'll say that on there, but the county has asked me and I've agreed to give that kind of a forecast so we can give people the answer to that. And it should cut down on the, yeah, but what are the schools gonna do issue a little bit, because schools have to lower their millage too, just like the county and the municipalities. And while I'm on that subject, schools are capped at their millage limit from the state index before, during, and after the reval. That doesn't change either. So there's no big windfall or jump in schools. Their rules don't change the year of the reassessment or even the year after. They're always governed by the state index and then whatever the exception rules are for that. Were there any other topics? Do you want me to touch on homestead or the PDR?
The homestead.
Okay. The county is evaluating a homestead exclusion at the county level. If you're already signed up for a school district homestead exclusion that you're used to getting, you don't have to do anything else. Anyone who owner occupies their home, has their primary residence in Schuylkill County, that signed up for homestead will get an additional reduction on your county taxes once the commissioners confirm it can be done and get it approved. That next year's taxes will be reduced. If the county, I've seen the resolution, the proposed resolution, it would be up to a $20,000 exclusion. It's not an exemption, just semantics here. We're not saying it's not taxable, we're saying we're going to exclude the first $20,000 of value. So if someone lives in $1 million home, that's only a 5% reduction in tax. If somebody lives in a $40,000 mobile home, they got their bill cut in half for county. If they live in anything under $20,000, they pay no county tax. So the homestead exclusion is a way that I've seen counties across the Commonwealth provide a tax break to the lowest valued properties in the county. It's very progressive in the way that it helps the lower valued properties, and it doesn't save anything for commercials because they're not in homestead, and even the big expensive properties, it's the same amount of reduction across the board for everybody.
And plus, Tim's gonna be at the night meeting.
Yes, that's the 11th, I believe.
We're gonna be here at the night meeting, because if we get different people that have some questions or anything.
Right.
I'm gonna be here for that.
Yeah, and we can structure.
Just two things. On $1 million property, it would be 2%, not 5%, correct?
It'll be 2%.
It'd be 2%. Yeah, if we do $20,000.
And then if that goes through, what is the process for people to apply for it? Can they do it now? Do they have to wait?
Most people already are signed up.
If you're on the school district homestead,
Then you're good to go.
you're
You're good to go. You don't have to
And
do
most
anything.
people are, but then you have to wait till next year if you're not signed up for it.
Is there an anticipated date for that, like an opening for the people who apply?
I don't know.
If they own or occupy their home and they're not currently enrolled, they will have missed it for 26, but they can apply by March 1st of 26 for 27.
So they can do that now through 27?
I would wait till the invitations go out in the fall. The annual cycle for homestead enrollment is, you can apply up through March 1st, but the deadline for this year is already passed. Most people are already signed up, and thanks for clarifying the 2% spend math. Okay?
I just don't want millionaires like Larry getting a bigger break than they want.
Yeah, I wish, I wish.
If we're at 4 mills, just as an example, we're talking $80. So $80 on somebody's bill that's 120 is a big deal. $80 on someone's bill who's $12,000 is not so big a deal.
Tim,
Yes.
could you explain again the difference between these meetings, now these informals, and the other meetings?
Sure. The informal reviews are about the data. We're not allowed to debate value. We learn things that change value, but the informal reviews are to verify the physical description of the property. The formal appeals will be in front of an appeal board of 3 members, county residents, that you present what you believe the property is worth and your sales research or an appraisal or whatever you've done to support that opinion of value. There are some property owners that I've spoken to as recently as this morning that have really extreme circumstances about their property that are beyond what an informal review can do. It's not just this is finished space, this isn't. It's much more complicated. That too can be presented to an appeal board because they have the leeway to evaluate all circumstances about the property. Those will start, the sequence for that, and we'll talk about this more on the 11th and as we get into June, but when the notices are mailed on or before July 1, there is a 40-day period from the date of mailing for people to file the form. And we know the first 5 days is going to take that just for them to get it. So they're going to have about a month to file the proper paperwork to get a formal appeal. Once they've filed that form, and revised rules and regulations for reassessment appeals are going to be coming from the assessment office. Once they've filed that form, the assessment office will schedule them. They'll send a letter saying, please come at this date and time. If you're worried that you're going to be on vacation, there's a place on the form that you can say, I'm on vacation this week, please don't schedule me this week, and they will avoid that. But you don't schedule your own appointment for a formal appeal. The county schedules it for you, sends you a notification 20 days before you're supposed to show up, and then you appear over at the STS building, former STS building, for your formal appeal.
And we are anticipating by July 1st that people will be able to go on and see their neighbors' values. They'll have a new value, the old value.
Right.
That'll be all.
Right after July 1st, yeah. As soon as we put them in the mail, then we'll be able to.
Okay.
We'll be able to publish it, so you'll be able to see other people's values. Because right now you can see other people's data, you can't see other people's values.
Is that the county website or?
You can get there either way. You can go to vgsi.com/Schuylkill and click property info, or you can go to the county map viewer and find a parcel there and hit camera card. Either one, they takes you to the same website.
And we are still anticipating putting the old and the new value.
Yes, both the
So
current
people will be able to
values.
compare their neighborhoods, so, because, you you automatically don't have to hire a lawyer for this. Some people could do their own information, their own thing, do their own research.
Right. Actually, and this is just Tim Barr's opinion, a formal appeal is not a court proceeding. It's an administrative hearing. It's an administrative procedure. You do not need a lawyer for a formal appeal. You need an opinion of value supported by evidence. That can be an appraisal. That could be your own research that you did on the web, looking at properties that have sold. All of that can go to a formal appeal. When you're going to want legal counsel is if you're going to appeal the appeal board's decision to common pleas. Now you're going to want to consult an attorney, in my opinion, because you've got to go through certain protocols at common pleas. That is a court. The formal appeals are not a court proceeding. It's an administrative hearing. And by the way, I didn't say this, and I told somebody I would. The county is still looking for people to sit on these appeal boards. So if you're a resident of the county with a high school diploma and able to hear information and make an informed decision, contact the assessment office about possibly serving on one of these appeal boards. I think it's $20 an hour. It will run basically between August, September, and October. There's some flexibility in time because it's a pool of people, so it doesn't mean you wouldn't be able to work around the schedule. But they don't have enough folks
And they
signed
have
up
that
yet.
training, and have the-
They will receive training from the state. They'll get 6 hours of training from the state and 3 hours of training from me, God help them, where I will provide the details about the reassessment values so that they know that going in. But yes, they get 9 hours of training.
There is a fee involved, what you'll be reversed later, right?
They have to pay their own fee for the training, which to the state, which is $40, I think.
$40 for their classes, and at the end of the hearings, as long as they're still with us through the process, the county will reimburse.
Reimburse them their $40.
Yes.
If you quit halfway through, you don't, right.
But we would encourage people, you don't have to be a real estate expert to sit on an
I
appeal
would
board.
say like construction background, banking background, realty background.
That helps, but that
Helps.
also narrows the candidates. If you're a former farmer or a school district administrator or an electrician, or really, you just need to be able to look at information analytically and say, what this property owner is telling makes sense to me. Or, honestly, I don't believe them and it doesn't make sense to me. And here's the other thing, each board has 3 people on it. So it's not like one person has to come to the decision. The team of the 3 will come to the decision of what value will be set at this level. And of course, that sets the value, from here on out, unless somebody appeals it again or there's a building permit.
Okay. Let's proceed.
The appeal form, when it becomes available, I will put it on the page. But right now, Shelby and I are working on that to get it changed because it is totally different than the annual appeal.
Okay. Okay. Any other public comment? Let's move on to meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the commissioner meeting of May 14th?
So moved. Second?
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on May 22nd?
So moved, sir. Second?
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve was presented by children and youth at our work session?
Yeah, motion to approve children. Second?
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented by the grant writers at the work session?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented by juvenile probation at the work session?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The motion to approve what was presented at our work session by drug and alcohol?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented at our work session by engineering?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented by the conservation district at our work session?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented by the county administration at our work session?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report that was presented at our work session?
So moved. Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Human resources.
Good morning, Commissioners. There's one item, it's informational. It's in the District Justice Office, the appointment of Heather Pritiskich as a District Justice Assistant 1, effective 6/16/25. The salary is per the union contract. Pending drug test and physical where appropriate. All actions involving salary for positions being created, pending salary board approval.
There's nothing from the finance office. Any new business, county administrator?
Motion adjourned.
Wait, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Commissioners, if I can, I just want to remind everyone, especially the press, that the 11th annual Service to Youth and Community Breakfast for the Boy Scouts, the Hawk Mountain Council. This is something that was a collaborative effort with the commissioners and a number of people, the state reps, our senator, and so forth, to help out scouting here in Schuylkill and parts of Carbon County. The event's gonna be held on June the 12th, and it'll be held at 8 a.m. till 9:30 down at the Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation. So I know there's a number of people already registered. If you can, please do, because it definitely helps out scouting. And I know all three of us definitely endorse the scouting program. We try to get to almost every Eagle Scout program there is, because it is a great program for both girls and boys now, and also on Girl Scouting side too, to promote that. It definitely develops them in community service and also leadership and so forth. So if you can, I just want to put out a cry to hopefully pass the word, and hopefully people can get there. So thank you.
And there's one more thing, make sure you get to that event, but also next Wednesday in Tremont Municipal Building, there's a hearing on the Liberty Soils expansion. DEP is putting that on, so I encourage people to go to that. I know myself and my other commissioners were opposed to any expansions of that type of business in the west end of the county. So I'm gonna try to make it to that meeting. I know my fellow commissioners are. I just want to bring that to the public's attention, that meeting is next Wednesday at 6 at the Tremont Municipal Building. Yep.
I apologize, Commissioner, for jumping in there. Mr. Hess is always a big supporter of that, you also cater.
And we always get a good breakfast.
Yeah, you always get
Get a good breakfast. So, now we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion though.
Okay, salary board, report of any executive sessions,
There were none.
public comment for salary board? Okay, see, look, there's some nice in you.
got things to do.
Yeah, there's some nice in you, right? Can I have a motion to approve the salary board, meeting minutes of May 14th?
So,
Second?
Any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Controller Yekenship. Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the salary board work session of May 22nd?
So moved, sir.
Second?
Any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Controller Yekenship. Yes.
Human resources.
Nothing to report this week.
Any new business for salary board? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned, sir.